Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave. Looking at this knife. See this guy? Found it at a antique mall. It's a Richards, Sheffield, England. Look at that. Needs to be fixed up somewhat. It's a little crusty. Let's check it out. So this is the knife I'm talking about. I'm not sure of the model or anything like that. It's unusual. I would say it's a camper is what I would say. The big thing is the shape of this. I like to think of it as maybe an elephant toe or a toe, something like that. The difference is, look how thin it is. Now this knife, it's pretty beat up. Shock and horror, right? Okay. Had you used the needle nose to get these guys out, they were so stuck in there. But here you can see it here. And it's pretty much a standard camper. Has the blade, can opener, bottle opener with a flat screwdriver, corkscrew, and it has Phillips head screwdriver. Now if you look, it's pretty rusty all over. And there's even things growing inside there. Not sure what that is. Hazmat suit. Anyway, interesting. Looking at the tang stamp. Ooh. Don't know if you can see that. Looking at the tang stamp, it's kind of hard to see, but it says Richards, Sheffield, England. Now, that's interesting and it has that lamppost light in between. You see that? Up here. Looked up the history because I really didn't know anything about them. I'd heard of them, but didn't know a lot. They got a lot of history, which kind of shocked me. I think they're originally from Germany, but we'll get into that later. Basically, it's in pretty bad shape. The worst part is, look at this blade. I don't know what they did with it, but you can see it's toast. To clean that up is going to mean reshaping it. You're going to have to take a lot of steel off to be able to even get an edge on it. So that'll be an interesting challenge. Things like it was coated, and you can see it's peeling off, really stuck in there. Couldn't get it out with my hand. And there's a lot of rust. Also, the coating, the actual handle, you can see it's starting to come off. Not much you can do about that. But we can clean it up and hopefully fix the blade, get everything nice and oiled and loosened up, and make it into a decent looking camper. So I'm going to dip it, and hopefully that'll get rid of most of the rust. So let's have at it. Pretty nasty in there. A lot of rust on it. So I'm just going to let it soak in there for a while. I found that with the evapor rust, which by the way I really like, one, it's affordable and it's reusable. A lot of people have recommended other ones. I just like this, and it's not as nasty as far as getting rid of it. I'm going to let that sit, and then we'll take it out and tear into it. Okay, it's been brewing in here for a couple of hours. Let's see what damage we've done. Let's rub it down. I've just got some Scotch-Brite. See, get the rough stuff off. See what we have to deal with after that. I can see why this peeled off. Look how bent that tip is. I don't know if it's all bent and buckled. I never noticed that before, so that'll have to be straightened. What other little... Oh, look, we got things growing. What? Oh, you know what that is, right? We all know. It is pocket lint builder. Ew. While I do this, I'll give you the history that I found out about the company. Yeah, this is going to take a lot of cleanup. More than I thought. What I found out about these guys, and you know, I don't know if you can see the tang stamp there. Richard's Knives, Sheffield, England. Now, they originally did not come from England. The company was founded in 1839, way back in Germany, and you know which town, like Solingen. I think every knife German manufacturer comes from there. It was actually founded by the Rickards family, but the spelling was Richartz. So it was pronounced a little different. I can't pronounce that. But later on, they moved to Sheffield in England. And this was prior to World War One. And while they were there, they changed their name to Richards, spelt the way you would expect it. So that's how that came about. Now, the tang stamp with the lamppost on it, they actually brought with them from Germany. That was the original tang stamp. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, they've been around, obviously, for quite a while. Now, I've got to be careful with this stuff. So I didn't know anything about it. It was interesting. I like looking up these guys that I've never seen before. It's always interesting to get some history on them. I'm going to go wash it off, get all the nasty that I had in there. I'm going to try and get some of them more out of the well. Yeah, I like looking up the history. You know, we don't hear a lot of these companies, and most of us are looking for USA made, which is fine. I do the same thing. I would prefer that. But to find these old knives like this from Europe, I think it's fun. It's fun to look them up. There's a lot of history there. And buying the old stuff and fixing it, it's always a challenge. Let's go and wash it off. Okay, so I washed it off with warm water to get all the cleaning solution, that rust off. But I wanted to show you this blade. Let me see if I can show it to you how bad it is. So here it is here. And look at the whole edge along here. Let's get it focused for you. See that? Wow. It's all bent and buckled. Joy. I originally thought maybe if I hammered it, it wouldn't, and I tried. I couldn't get rid of those lumps like that. Pretty bad. So we're going to have to get rid of a whole edge here underneath those lumps. These knives I'm dealing with here are not sharp at all. Blunt. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with like 320 sharpening stone and see how much I can take off and if we can get past those things without killing the blade too much. I'm going to do that now. I'm using my portable one, and this is 320. Now, right now, I don't really care about the angle. This is pretty close to 17. That's what I did last time. So, haven't adjusted in there. So, if it's off, I'm not too worried about it. I probably would like to increase that. So, I'm going to do that. Because I'm going to be taking a lot off. And the greater the angle, hopefully I won't take as much off. By the way, if you use one of these, you do need an angle finder. And these are fairly inexpensive. This is a Klein, just like my electrician's knives, same people, and it's pretty accurate. Oops. You would zero it, and then when you put it on here, it gives you the angle. I'm at 19 right now. Very handy and inexpensive. And I saw some comments of people talking about this Zorluk, I think you pronounce it, I don't know. I like this system. And they were saying that the aluminum jaws here, they snapped, they broke. Well, how tight are you tightening these things down? To break that jaw, it's not much of an angle they give you to tighten here. And all you want to do is have enough tension on it to hold the blade so it doesn't move when you sharpen. You know, sometimes I wonder, you know, they were comparing it to another system. So I don't know any other systems. Well, I do, but I don't do comparisons. Let's see how we do here. What I am going to do, use this to see how much we're taking off. Really, I'm going to mark where the bumps are and how close we're getting to them. I'm not looking for a sharp edge, I'm just looking to remove as much metal as I can without really reducing the blade too much. And I know what you're thinking, what am I doing to this? Well, they sent me these guys, which is a much better stone. I haven't even used them yet. I'm just using the regular stone like this. Once this gets to be no good, then I'm going to the new ones, and then I'll care. What I'm trying to do here is, as I sharpen, I'm going to get rid of the bumps first. And what I'm looking for, and I don't know if you can really see that, but you can see here, I want to get rid of those so that the grind mark I get is even all the way across. Then I know I'm past any lumps or bends or chips. That's what I'm looking for. But you have to be careful. You can't do it on just one side. You're going to go down, flip it over, and do the other side until you get rid of those chips. Don't just do it all on one side. I want to turn it around now because I can barely feel any lumps here, but you still have the other side because it's still tweaked on the other side. So I'm just going to flip it around here and repeat. Whew, this side feels even worse than the other side did. So now I've done it on both sides but twice here. I'm almost there. I almost can't feel any of the dents. Almost. Now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do it one more time. We'll stop there, clean up the knife, and then sharpen it. So I've got the knife off. You can see how much metal I took off. And here's, you're looking at it now. You see that shine, the edge? It's a lot cleaner than it was. Maybe not. There we go. But it's not perfect. I doubt if it'll cut a piece of paper. Oh, okay, I'm wrong. But you can see just how furry the cut is. So it's not a clean cut. But we're almost there, at least getting a shape out of it. Not quite finished. Going to have to do something about the point here. You can see how flat it is here. And I'm wondering if that's what they did. They flattened it, and then there's a little bit of it there. And we're going to have to reshape it because that just don't look right. to reshape it. I'm thinking of just bringing this up a little bit more and making it more of a spear tip stuff. Now it's a lot of sandpapering with maybe 400, then 1000, 2000, and a polish. Hopefully will do the trick. And we got to get rid of all the rust marks and everything. But before we do that, I need to eat because I'm going to need fuel for the energy to do all that. So here you can see I was going over with the 400. That's what it was like. And that's after 400. Now this, it's going to be hard to get rid of that, the patchy stuff. I'm not worried about it as long as it looks nice. And I'm looking here and you can still see some of the dents here. But when I shape it, I think they'll go away. I'll go to 1000, then 2000 on everything. And then mothers on everything, including these here, to shine them up. And of course, each tool has to be done. Now you can actually see the England on the tank stamp there. It's shining up, but it's not going to be perfect, but it's shiny. Of course, then we've got to shape it and make it sharp. The other thing is, if you look carefully, the blade is bent. Gonna have to straighten that. With this, if you can see there, it's peeled off. So I don't want to use a heavy grit on here right away because I'm worried it'll peel it back more. I'm going to go really light with the 1000 and then the 2000. Smoothed it out somewhat there. The peel is smoothed down. I forgot. That's bent as well. Gonna have to straighten that. Well, we'll keep going and try and straighten that afterwards. We might have to touch it up. But I just want to get rid of that, the obvious change here. On these guys, there's some rust on the tools. The corkscrew looks good. There's a little bit of rust inside, but maybe we can get around that. And then we got to get the rust out of here. And I'm just going to go through it with 1000. Got to be careful rubbing on the scales here because it's that really thin coverage. So we've gone over all the steel and everything and got all the rust off, shined them up a bit, up to 1000. So now all that's left on the steel now is to use the mothers. But before I do that, I have to fix some things. This and this. So I'm going to do that now. Hold on, I'm going to take my jacket off. How do you take the trash out? It's a blistering -2 degrees outside. That's without any wind. We're going camping on Friday. That should be exciting. Here we are. Here it is here. It did clean up very nice. See that? A lot of problems with it. As I worked on it, so I found more and more. But we managed to sort them out somewhat. Always a challenge. Always a challenge. Out for you. I need to oil it as well with the tools out quickly. You can see it there. Cleaned up very nice. Like the way it cleaned up. Better than I thought it would. It works really well. It's got good snap on it, which is surprising. But it works. And it's actually a nice knife. Now, some people refer to these as a cigar shape. I'm not sure about that. I think they have to be fatter to be that. But it's a very cool knife. Never owned one before, and always interesting to read some history on them. I just gave you a quick update on that. I didn't really get involved in it, so there's a lot. More to it than I told you about. Obviously, they came from Germany prior to the First World War. Changed their name. Probably a good move. You can see the tang stamp now. But I'm surprised how well it cleaned up. Very happy with this. Very happy. So Richards, didn't know anything about him. Now I do. Would be interesting to make a sheath for it, right? So thin. Maybe we'll do that. But that's another story. Very cool. Like this. Just gonna drop some oil in there quickly. A couple of little drops. Don't want too much, otherwise it gets everywhere. Let it soak in, and then just move them back and forth, and it'll loosen up nicely. They move a lot smoother. And all you're doing is just putting a couple of drops in the bolster areas there. And there it is. In all its glory. I'm impressed it came out. Even, I didn't have to take as much off. You can still see it looks like it's dented there, but I was surprised that the edge was good all the way through, which was a pleasant surprise. Now, one thing I will say, when I was straightening the tip and this, cleaning this up, I noticed the steel is very soft, which means it's going to need a lot of sharpening when you use it. So I actually saw a comment about that on somebody who had one on one of the forums, and he was saying that, yeah, they're known for their soft steel. You don't want to be prying or anything with it, which is probably what happened to the blade and the screwdriver. It was twisted, which means they were tightening down really, really hard on it, and it twisted, and, the coating cracked off. But works for me. I like this. Worked out just great. Better than I thought it would. Can't remember how much I paid for it. I'd have to look that up, but I know it wasn't a lot. You will be safe out there, especially when you're fiddling with these things. I nicked myself at blood thinners, obviously, and any little cut, I bleed for hours. So I have to wear Band-Aids, otherwise you drip blood anywhere, everywhere, and it's never a good thing. So worked out well. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. I'm going camping, like I said, on Friday. That's going to be exciting because it's going to be a wee diddly chilly, but we're hot tenting it. Ricky's got a nice big hot tent. Hopefully Will can join us, so it'll be all four of us, and that's normally a good time. Always have a good laugh, and we go walk about and just do the camping thing. Thanks for watching and all the support. Finally hit 10,000 subscribers. Who would have thunk? I never thought so. Just saying. We'll see you again soon.